Okay guys, so after already having talked about Captain Marvel's origin and how that's kind of going to be the central focus of her solo movie, it's now time to talk about some of the other aspects, specifically her power levels and what Kevin Feige, the man of course in charge of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, had to say about this character. First he says, "With all of our movies, you want to be different. We want them to find a new voice. I think the fun thing is we're meeting so many great directors, and that we'll bring one of them onto Captain Marvel. But we have future things to come for the others." And he also did confirm that there has been a delay in finding the right director. He says, "We're trying to get a little more of the story set before we bring a filmmaker, so we can talk about the entire story with the filmmaker before we bring them on." Now obviously this is one of the most important aspects of any character. You've seen this with other companies where they will hire a director and they don't have a complete script, and that director will end up walking away and stuff just falls apart, and at the end there's been 3 or 4 different directors and the end product is kind of a mashup of a few things. Sometimes this can honestly turn out good. This happened with Ant-Man. Sometimes this can do the opposite, and you just never know. So it sounds like what they're really waiting to do is kind of get the basics down and then go out and hire someone to do a perfect treatment of the script in their eyes, kind of like they try to do with Black Panther, and then they're going to go on and pitch that to certain directors before they get them on board. And then he also goes on and adds, "What is one of the coolest things about it is that she's by far the most powerful character we've ever introduced in a movie. How do you find those limitations? How do you find those vulnerabilities? That is something that is sort of the crux of the story we're putting together. She has, from the comics, an interesting story. And I think we have a cool and very unique way of telling that story. I don't think it leaked yet exactly what we're doing with her movie or how we're doing it, but it will be cool. She will prove to be a very important character in our universe for all the movies." So right there's kind of a lot to dive into and dissect it piece by piece. So I want to kind of start from the top, and obviously what he says is her power. I've said this multiple times every time I talk about Captain Marvel, specifically her introduction into the MCU. She is, without a doubt, the most powerful character that they have currently at their disposal. They don't have Silver Surfer or anything like that, but in the MCU, there's really no one more powerful than her for a hero. And that's essentially, imagine if they had a bunch of movies and then suddenly they drop Superman down into it. That's a lot you have to deal with in this universe you built. And what they're saying here is, you have to find a balance. You have to go out there and get the right director that can convey how powerful this character is, while also showing you how vulnerable she is. What are her limitations? How does she cope with this power that no one else has? How is she gonna cope with the knowledge that, hey, Captain America, Iron Man, I can kill you guys in an instant. I could kill all my enemies, and she will be killing enemies, make no mistake, because that's her. She's in the military, but how does she go without not abusing that power? How do you humanize the character? And I really like that that's the aspect they're going to go with. Now, what else he says obviously is the involvement of her and how she's very important and how her origin is very important to the entire movie universe. Now, whether that means that they're going to stick with the whole Kree thing or not, or Captain Marvel, that's pretty interesting that they put that out there, and I just it makes me wonder to a degree on what changes they're going to make, because we know the MCU make changes, and a lot of times they're for the better, but you really have to wait and see. So I'm really interested, and I want you guys to let me know, how do you feel about her pretty much being the Marvel Superman?